Ashley Scully. Welcome to another video. In this video, we'll be going over some warm-up and cool-down techniques. These techniques are specific to the sport, track. Say hello to my club teammates. They've volunteered to help me demonstrate proper and improper warm-up and cool-down techniques. Warm-ups. The first technique for warming up are the basic stretching. First, we start off with knee pulls. This is a type of static stretching. Let's slow it down a bit. The name is a dead giveaway. Pull your knees to your chest. Look at how she pulls her ankle at an acute angle. When doing this, you'll feel the burn in both hamstrings. The improper way of doing this, not allowing your legs to get to an acute angle. 90 degrees or more pull on the leg will not loosen up the muscles. Now for reverse knee pulls. In order to do this, you must also pull your knee to your butt. You'll feel the stretching of your hamstrings. This also must have an acute angle for the knee. These to warm up allows for the loosening of the hamstrings, which are to be used to a great extent in track. This also prevents injury. The next warm-up technique is called flamingos. It is called that because the position resembles the stance of a flamingo. In order to do this warm-up, you take your leg and place it on your knee while bending it. In other words, go into a squat position with one leg on top of the other. When doing this exercise, it is important to make sure you're doing it in a slow and controlled manner. This warm-up provides ankle stability, knee support, and will help improve your balance, which is a key component in the sport track. Look over here. Unfortunately, the improper way of doing this here is by pulling your leg up. You must allow yourself to drop into the squat position while pulling onto the leg. Now for the warm-up called scoops. In order to probably do this warm-up, you bend over completely, while switching over and swinging your hands. See over here, her leg is not completely straight. Not completely straightening out your leg makes this warm-up futile and can higher the risk of you obtaining injury. The next warm-up is called open or close gates. In order to do this, you must lift up your knee to a 90 angle in front of you and rotate it lateral, from and towards your body. The purpose of this warm-up is to provide hip mobility. This helps the hips to loosen up and get ready for any event and track. In track, hip mobility is very important. When doing this, you will feel the movement of your hip bones. Now for side stretches. In this warm-up, you will be extending and switching off on each leg while lowering into a squat position. This warm-up is meant to stretch out all the muscles in the back of your leg. You will feel your glute muscles, hamstring muscles, and calf muscles. The lower you go, the better results you'll obtain. Now, here are some sprint drills. This specific sprint drill is called a skips. All the previous warm-ups I have shown you before weren't just track-specific, but this one is more track-specific. This warm-up or sprint drill is great for creating good running habits. Skips help sprinters with their form in running. In order to do it, your leg comes up to a 90-degree angle with your ankles and toes dorsiflexed. The next warm-up are called 90-90s. The premise of this warm-up is to loosen up your hips. In order to do this, your ankles must be planted into the ground while you shift both of your knees side to side. This movement requires only your hips to be in action. The next warm-up is called iron cross. This is also a hip mobility warm-up. Within this warm-up, you'll be lying on your back, taking your right leg to your left hand, and your left leg to your right hand. She does a great job, keeping her legs in a 90-degree angle, but the only slight issue is that her arms are not high enough to where her body will resemble a cross. The next warm-up is called scorpions. This is another hip mobility warm-up. The doer of this warm-up lies on their back and pulls their right ankle to their left hand, and their left ankle to the right hand. In order to do this properly, your arms must be straight across your body with a 180-degree angle, and your legs are perpendicular to your arms. Unfortunately, our demonstrator arms were not at a 180 angle, and her leading leg was not perpendicular to her. Now the next warm-up is called rollover reach. This warm-up is just to loosen up all the muscles in the body. It also helps the doer to use your hip mobility that they have warmed up previously with the other warm-ups with more momentum. The doer is reaching forward with her legs, spread as far as possible and rolling back to where both of their toes touch the ground above their head. The only thing that matters is that your lower back comes off the ground completely, and your hands shouldn't be used to stabilize yourself. The last and final warm-up of this video are box downs. These are plyometric warm-ups. They are meant for quick reactions. In order to do this, you must jump on at the box and jump down, but quickly react back onto the next box. Now the sprinter is ready to start sprinting. Now, the best ways to cool down after a good sprint workout or track event is really just eating right and rolling out. Compression is key, and so is getting all that lactic acid out soon as possible. So here are some cool down techniques I do as a sprinter. The first cool down demonstration I'll be showing is using a foam roller to roll out your legs. When using the foam roller, you start with specific muscle groups. Whatever you feel needs the most attention, requires the most time. Place the foam roller under the specific muscle group and apply pressure on it while rolling it back and forth. Now, the last thing that I do to recover is ice. To do this properly, all you have to do is please the ice directly on the areas that need the most attention. And that is all that I do to cool down after a track practice. Really, my real cool down is trying to get a lot of water in, at least 8 hours of sleep in and massaging and treating my muscles. Well, I hope you really enjoyed this video and my explanation of warm up and cool down specific to the sport track. And sorry about my brother. Ha 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 ha.